Coming up, a nightly news kids exclusive. The chicks are in the house. That is penguin chicks. We'll introduce you to these new arrivals at the Shedd Aquarium.
These nice black feathers are all waterproof, so these will help keep the chick warm in the water.
Plus, we'll tag along on another field trip with the grown-ups. Also ahead, some camps may be closed this summer, but backyards are open. What you can do at home to have some fun this summer, you won't want to miss it. And Dr. John is back to answer some more of your questions.
This is NBC Nightly News, Kids Edition.
Welcome back to Nightly News Kids Edition. Thanks for joining us. I hope you guys are doing well. We've got some fun stuff, as usual, coming up in just a few minutes, including an exclusive with these new penguin chicks. But first, we want to update you on the news and answer some of your questions about the virus. Because unfortunately, guys, as you've probably been hearing me explain to your parents every evening, the virus is still out there and remains a story we continue to follow. All right, here's what we know. Many states across the country now, including California, Texas, Arizona, and Florida, continue to see big increases in coronavirus cases. Some states are starting to put more restrictions on indoor activities like dining. Meanwhile, health officials continue to urge folks to wear face masks to slow the spread. Now let's get to your questions. Joining us now is Dr. John Torres. Dr. John, first let me ask you, we are seeing increases in some states, big increases. When do we think that they might peak, that we might start seeing the numbers go down?
And Lester, you're right. Unfortunately, we're seeing big increases in some of these states. And what we're hoping is over the next couple of weeks, we'll start to see the case numbers drop. Because the one thing to remember is people that get infected today might not show symptoms for 2 weeks. So there's a 2-week time frame where they start showing up. And so we're hoping over the next 2 weeks we see those cases drop. But that means that people are doing those things that you and I always talk about they need to do to protect themselves and their community. Wear a mask, social distance, don't go out in big groups, and a lot of hand washing.
All right, let's turn now to some of our viewer questions. We got some really good ones today. Our first one comes to Minnesota.
Hi, Dr. John and Lester Holt. My name is Akshaya, and I'm 8 years old, and I live in Eden Prairie, Minnesota. And my question is, before we knew much about COVID-19, doctors and scientists thought hot temperatures will kill the virus. Now, as we see in hot places like Arizona and Texas, there are a lot of cases. How?
Akshaya has a really great question there, and I remember the same discussion, Dr. John, that maybe the heat would kill this thing. What's happening?
Exactly, and Akshaya is a scientist in the making because she remembers what we talked about a couple of months ago. And the reason we said this a couple of months ago is what we said was that in the summertime, when the heat comes here, we think the virus is going to get more under control. We said that because other types of coronaviruses and other viruses do that. They go away in the summer and they come back when the weather gets colder. But this is such a new virus, we really didn't know much about it, so we were guessing based on what the other viruses did. Well, guess what? We found out that's not the way this is acting, because right now in the summer the cases are actually going up. We need to make sure they go down. But we do think over time, as our bodies get more used to having this virus, as our immune systems get more set up to fight it, that it will go away more in the summer and come back in the winter and the fall like a lot of other viruses, including the flu.
Yeah, I know scientists are learning new stuff about this virus every day. It's fascinating work. Our next question comes from California.
Hi, I am Rikia from Oakland, California. I am 8 years old. My question is, how does a face mask affect my breathing if I have asthma? Thank you, Lester Holt. I love watching the NBC Nightly News Kids Edition.
Dr. John, what about her question?
You know, that's a fantastic question. And we know masks are extremely important to get this pandemic under control. But if you've worn a mask, you know, sometimes it can be a little hard to breathe. But what the CDC says is everybody should be wearing a mask when they're out and about, except for children under the age of 2 and those that have any problems breathing. If you do have asthma and you're having an asthma attack, having problems breathing, go ahead and take the mask off until you get better. Once you get better, put put the mask back on. And again, these masks are important. We need to wear them as much as possible. One national expert recently even said that if everybody wore these masks every time they're outside across the whole country, we'd get this pandemic under control in just 2 months.
Man, that's what we all want to do. Dr. John, thanks very much. We want to switch gears now and turn to a nightly news kids exclusive. The popular Shedd Aquarium in Chicago just got a few new additions to their team. 4 penguin chicks hatched during the shutdown. And here with more on these new chicks and what the grown-ups have been up to is our pal Jackson Daly. Hi, Jackson.
Hi, Mr. Holt. Today I got the chance to talk to 4 baby penguins that are only 2 months old and an animal expert that told me about them and my old penguin friends and their new adventures.
Hi, Alicia. My name's Jackson. And is that a chick? That looks really big.
Yes, Jackson, this is a chick. This is actually our youngest chick here. While we were closed, we had 4 chicks hatch out, 3 of them on the same day. This one was just a couple days later, but we are now open to the public and everyone can come and see a lot of our critters that you guys have been able to see on social media if you've been following. So please come and see them. The chicks will hopefully be out soon, but they're not out on exhibit yet.
I have a little baby sister who's 4 months old, and she's like smaller than that. How old is that chick?
This chick will be 2 months old in about a week on the 21st, and our other chicks hatched out on the 18th. So they'll be 2 months, just a couple days before this one. But they do grow very, very quickly, much faster than humans. So these guys are almost pretty much full grown, if you will. Most of our chicks are between 7 and 8 pounds right now. And our adult penguins for Magellanics are typically about 8 to 12. So they do grow very, very quickly.
Do they get along? Because they're all brothers and sisters, right? Do they ever like fight for like food or I don't get along with my sisters.
That's a great question, Jackson. Not all of these chicks are related. They do have some different parents, but we do think that they hang out together pretty well. It's definitely interesting to watch their different dynamics as they interact and kind of learn to engage in their environment. Some are definitely more curious than others and like to hang out with other ones. But with 4 of them, it makes a really fun play group.
What exactly do they eat?
So when they eat from their parents, the parents are actually regurgitating kind of like a fish gruel, if you will. So the parents will eat fish from us, and then their bodies kind of know how to partially digest it and regurgitate that back up for their chicks. And as the chicks get larger and larger, they can handle bigger and bigger pieces of fish. So what we start to do is offer them these small little fish fillets that we cut up for them. And then as they start to get larger, those pieces can also get larger. And now they're actually eating whole fish, just like the adults. It's amazing. These guys are almost 2 months old, but yet they're eating whole fish and they're almost ready to start swimming.
So, well, their next milestone is when they start swimming?
It is, yeah. Let me see if I can get this chick to stand up a little bit so you guys can see the difference of the belly on the penguin chick. So these waterproof feathers in the front are these nice white feathers. And then underneath them, there's kind of more downy feathers. It's hard to tell with white on white while they still have the chick coloration. But as soon as they lose all these downy feathers on the back, you can see it really well on the flippers right here. These nice black feathers are all waterproof. So these will help keep the chick warm in the water. But as they start to lose all this, then they'll really look more like a full adult penguin. So keep the silver coloration for about a year. And then they'll go through a catastrophic molt where it looks like a giant pillow fight all over Penguin Exhibit. It's coming soon for our adults.
That's awesome. We spoke about a couple months ago, and it was about the grown-up penguins. They went on a field trip. Have they gone on any more field trips?
That's a great question, Jackson. Our adult penguins have continued to go on their field trips throughout the aquarium and even got to go visit our neighbors next door at the Field Museum to check out Sue, one of the dinosaurs over there. So we have continued to explore throughout the aquarium, even though now we're open. We might just do our field trips at a little bit different times, or you might even see us out and about while you guys are here to see our animals. We have started taking the chicks out as well to a few new spaces. They've been out to the walkway and have seen the whales for the first time. They saw their first dolphin this week and their reaction was quite hilarious. They weren't sure what to think of them. They swim very, very fast. But they definitely are noticing more around their habitats and starting to explore. It's been really fun watching these guys grow up.
You guys have just recently opened up from the pandemic. How's that going?
You know, it's going really well. We've opened up safely. We've got new procedures in place. You can see I'm masked around the animals, the other staff members, and then anytime guests come, you do need to be in a face mask to walk around. We're doing lots of extra cleaning, but the animals seem to be really excited that people are back and they're more engaged again with them. It's really nice to see people. It feels a little bit more normal. But if you're not able to come to the aquarium, maybe you don't live in Chicago, I definitely recommend checking out our virtual summer camp. It's another way that you can connect with us online.
That's awesome. All right. Thank you so much. It was awesome talking to you.
You're welcome, Jackson. I hope you have a wonderful day. Thanks for meeting our chicks.
Thank you too. Tell the other chicks I said hi.
Oh, I will.
As you can see, I got to meet 2 of the 4 baby penguins, and they were a lot bigger than I suspected. I learned a lot, and I hope you did too. Back to you, Mr. Holt.
All right, Jackson, great story. I love those little critters. They're really fun to watch. We know this summer, for most of you, probably looks a lot different than last year, and your plans may have changed, but there's still some fun to be had, even if you're just hanging out at home. Here's Kristen Dahlgren with some ideas.
If this summer has you longing for the good old days, whether it's fun at camp or just playing with your friends like you used to, it's time to get creative.
Crazy ideas are welcomed and encouraged actually at camp.
We spoke with camp director Pam Malter. Her camp is closed, but she's got some great ideas for recreating that camp experience right at home.
So what are some activities that you would recommend that aren't too hard for parents and kids to set up?
I would think about trying to create a well-rounded day. So I think every day should have a little bit of creativity. So creativity could mean art, it could mean, outdoor cooking, it could mean dance and performance. I suggest you start by looking around your house. Do you have a lot of tinfoil, cardboard, trash bags, duct tape? So give yourself about an hour to create an outfit out of things that normally would end up in the trash, and then walk the runway and have a great time with some music. And
look online for other ideas like these kids found.
The first thing that I highly recommend is a bracelet bar. And literally all a bracelet bar is taking the odds and ends and beads that you have around the house, putting them together on a tray, plopping it on a countertop, and voila, it's a bracelet bar.
Even if rocks are all you have. Our own Craig Melvin and his family showed us how to turn them into pet rocks on the Today Show recently.
So we went out, collected a bunch of rocks, and then the very first step is you paint your rock white. So it's important to paint your rock white in the beginning because then it makes all the colors pop that you put on top of it.
Acrylic paint works best.
The final step is to use an acrylic varnish, which is just basically a simple seal. And once you put that on, it will dry.
Another key part of camp, sports and competition. These kids showing their skills at improvising right in their backyard.
Our first activity is a camp favorite, tennis. But most of us don't have tennis courts in our homes. So we're gonna use badminton instead. Next up is soccer. Every kid loves soccer at camp. But since we don't have a soccer pitch, we're not gonna use a soccer ball, we're gonna use a hacky sack.
Walmart is also getting in on the camp game, and it's free. How'd you like NBA star LeBron James as your counselor? Or actor Neil Patrick Harris?
Good morning, campers! Hi there, my name is Neil.
The star-studded cast of camp counselors offering families camp online with a wide range of activities. And finally, you can always explore your own neighborhood, with your parents' permission, of course.
We can go on a nature scavenger hunt, and maybe we go and try to collect flowers one day. Once we collect those flowers, we can press them between books, we can dry them out, and then there's a whole bunch of crafts that you can do with dried flowers, which would be a really fun idea. That every day should have a little bit of waterfront fun in it. So if you don't have a lake or a pool or a body of water close by, let's use water guns. Let's use cups filled with water. Let's use water balloons. But we can use the water in a lot of creative ways to do some relay races that could be fun.
Or try a good old slip and slide. easy ways to make a splash for endless summer fun right at home.
All right, Kristen, thanks very much for all that. Well, that's going to do it for us today. We hope you learned something and also had some fun. Parents, just a reminder, if your child has a question, send us a video. They can email it to us at nightlynewskids@nbcuni.com. Thanks for watching, everyone. Take care of yourself and each other.